Dad had a nickname from his schooling days, Grizzly. Now, whether it's beard-based or not, and pictures of the time certainly lend credence, it's not what we, the three 80s-born eldest boys, were told. Imagine the joy and glorious horror of three boys not yet 10 being told a story about wrestling a bear in order to obtain the fur which lined the inside of his coat he was wearing. That's how I got both the jacket and the nickname, he said, punctuating the story, of course, with the visual of the fur. Grizzly, he wrestled it. It happened because that's how we remember it, right? And that's what he said. Grizzly, beards. Now, although mine is certainly the most consistent one of the boys, I have only purchased one razor in the last decade. I'm serious. But despite the consistency, I might have the third densest beard of the boys. Those of you who know us might know who is stranded. McKay is kind of stranded in that does he have a driver's license territory of beard growth. Must have been something in the water in the 80s. Dad was well-spoken. He wasted very little words, unlike me. He taught me many, many words. I asked to learn big, multisyllabic words, and he would respond, "Right now you're trepidatious. Hopefully later you'll be magnanimous." So I rushed to my well-worn thesaurus, which I still have, to see just how backhandedly instructive he was. I have the gift and curse of being sensitive to the temperament of those around me. Thankfully, I never once saw or heard Mom and Dad argue. And I can't think of a single day in which I didn't see one or both of them reading a book on a couch, on a recliner, with rapt attention to the printed page. And that really deeply resonated with me. It's perhaps the only thing I can do well, which they've done. They're above and beyond my capacities and any ability that I might have. And in exchange, I gave them or accelerated any gray hair that they may have had, which, come to think of it, it's not a very fair trade. I'm sorry. Dad loved Jesus. He loved like Jesus, and he worked like a machine, smiled like a joker, and escaped more death as Brett just went through all the pain that he went through. He escaped more death than a yard full of cats. He traveled the world with a Twainian curiosity, though tempered by good manners and cordiality. He was not the type of Christian where the only thing keeping the person decent is the expectation of a divine reward. He embodied in thought, mind, and deed those beautiful precepts elucidated in the Sermon on the Mount. He was so thoroughly infused with anticipatory charity that when any instance of need arose, whatsoever, from family, friend, most particular strangers, he was there, arms and heart outstretched, prepared to serve, seeking no credit or recognition. He taught me by his actions to see others without judgment. I have to break it up with little memories so that I don't just lose it. Me, Matt, and Brett, way before the internet, we had to, do things, tactile things. We had baseball cards, and we'd build these houses of cards, but anytime, me and Brett would get to level 3, it would kind of be the pinnacle, and so I went to my dad, who I thought was the smartest human on earth, and he was. And I said, "Dad, I just can't get the 4th level. What do I do?" And, he never saw a challenge that couldn't be overcome. No matter if you could even accomplish it, he just said, "You know what, maybe it's best served that you read the backs of these cards instead. You don't always have to go up the 4th level." And so, yeah, me and Brett, we know sports knowledge up the wazoo. You ask any of the three of us anything about early 90s baseball or basketball, we'll get that. I was also big into Legos. I was kind of a reserved kid. We moved a lot, like Brett mentioned. And, I wanted more Lego guys. We had this gray carpet. It looked like slush. It was disgusting. And so I went to Dad, like, you're the one that solves everything. I need more Lego guys. And with probably like the drop of a hat, he said, just break them in half and make them look like they're swimming in the slush. You'll double your Lego guys. It's amazing. They're swimming in the slush ocean. He was always about the utilization of what we had, whether it was during law school when we drank powdered milk or when, the 90s kids had a silver spoon. So he really helped explore the depth of what we had, because accumulating more things isn't the answer. It's focusing on what we do have, except for books, as Kate will attest. Quite the hoarder of books. He also supplied me with any intellectual vigor I have, as well as its elaborately ornamented ancestor, sarcasm. Whether we were watching the Marx Brothers or Seinfeld with him, his humor was as dry as the Sahara and incalculably smart. As mentioned, he loved his mission, and here's a touching story recently related to me that I had never heard until I posted on social media pictures of my dad. And so this is somebody I've been friends with. He's a bit older. He runs in the same social circles. And I won't use names, but he said, first of all, I offer my condolences to you and your family at the passing of your dad. When I saw the pictures of him you posted, I had one of those wait a minute moments. That's Elder Passwaters. Correct me if I'm wrong. And if I am, your dad had a doppelganger, but didn't your dad serve a mission in Germany? If so, he was a lifesaver for me when he was a zone leader in Heidelberg. I was on my second companion, and it was a horrible experience, the worst of my mission. The zone leaders did a trade, and I went to Heidelberg to be with Passwaters for a few days. Lane showed me how it was to enjoy a mission. He also gave me comfort in that he acknowledged my companion was a tough one to get along with, and that the mission president was well aware of the challenge he presented to a new elder. Those 3 days in Heidelberg, from an attitude standpoint, reoriented my mission experience very positively. Lane was a great example of how to relax and enjoy the journey and fond memories. And there's nothing that describes him more perfectly than that. He was the absolute kindest human. No matter who you were. Dad died peacefully after a long, courageous battle with a rare autoimmune disease and cancer on Halloween. It happened in the best possible way, considering the circumstances. All of my siblings, the 6 of us, were at his side as it happened. I was holding one of his hands. My mom kissed him as his eyes flitted about, longing for life's last curiosities. She then kissed him one more time, and then he left us. It was excruciatingly painful, but having our whole family present brought quick peace. He was right there with us until the last instant, and when he ended his battle, it was an unmistakable relief. My dear sweet mom deserves a lifetime of comfort after all she's been through as his caretaker for over half a decade. In his final days as a family, we were able to watch his favorite movies, listen to his favorite music, and share with him our favorite memories and stories. I was also able to recount my recent adventure in Sweden in our final days with him. My friend Jacob Baker recently wrote one of my favorite quotes, one which brought me great comfort over the past few months. The work of mourning is a knife that efficiently cuts away the outer protective shells we have carefully built to keep others away, obscuring our view of one another. Mourning elides space-time and takes what would have been years, if ever, of bitterly hard work and condenses it into a shared moment where time stands still and we are left with only each other. He goes on, where there are stories, there can be mourning. And where there is mourning, There we will be, undone by one another, all together for the very, very first time. As different and vibrant as all of his kids are, each of us pulsating on different frequencies, we were there all undone, all together, all together. When I was growing up, my mom would always say the words, "Remember who you are and act accordingly," as I left the house. After all these years, Dad knew who he was, and there's a victory in that. If the world was populated with people like my dad, who put people before profit, we'd perhaps be able to get to the bottom of and eradicate many of the maladies without current cures, such as the few which led to his early, untimely, and unfair demise. Years ago, I read a text message that said, "Dad's not responsive." It was frightening. As the car was leaving toward the hospital, backing out of the driveway, he tried to escape. Like door-opening, child-rebelling at dentist checkup type escape. He did get to the hospital, and he fought for years each time he entered to be able to escape as quickly as possible. And so he did time and time and time again, defying doctors, defying timelines, and now he's on to his biggest escape, the great escape. He's escaped the pain he didn't earn, the pain he endured. He escaped the pain and always showed by example how he could, so that maybe we might learn how to fight for what's right, to fight the pain in our path, to fight all the grizzlies in our path, whether real or not, because some pain, some grizzly is real and earned, and some is fake and unasked for. But fight we must, or else you'll never be able to line your jacket. You'll never be able to claim a nickname. Dad, Papa, Grizzly, you fought and you won, time and time again. I miss you like crazy, and may you rest the comfortable rest, eternally free from the pain. I love you endlessly, your second son.